Good morning. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. My name is Dr. Mark Williams. Welcome to the Smith Conference Center on the campus of Florida Memorial University. Today we celebrate the appointment of Florida Memorial University's first woman interim athletic director and our glorious 141-year history. Her name is Ms. Chevonne Mansfield. Why is this such a big deal? The NAIA, currently there are 9 black female athletic directors. Chevonne Mansfield makes number 10. There are 7 in HBCUs and 3 non-HBCUs. Again, why is this a big deal? Because nationally, there's only less than 9% female athletic directors, so that's a very big deal. Before we start this special occasion, in our customary Florida Memorial fashion, we will open with a special prayer by our Dean of Campus Ministry, Dr. Jeffrey Swain.
Would you bow with me? Father of heaven, we come this morning invoking your presence. You promised to inhabit those spaces where 2 or 3 faithful people would gather in your name. We are here this morning agreeing that you are our strength and our hope, and we invite you in. I lift before you our board, our president, our athletic department, our new director, all of our athletes, all of our coaches in the name of Jesus. We are here stewards of Florida Memorial University, a historically black college founded by people who trusted that you would cause their educational vision of a multicultural, diverse school to flourish. We are here some 141 years removed from their dream of faith and standing on this sacred ground where you have planted us. I now pray, O Lord, that each person who steps to this podium will reiterate our commitment to the core values of leadership, character, and service. Let us be a light in this time for our young people who strive to develop their gifts, for parents who entrust them to us, and for our community where we serve as partners in progress. Now may your grace shine on this moment, and let every word uttered reflect the trust placed in us. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Swain. For those of you who are not present here, media, we'd like to let you know if you'd like to submit your questions throughout the event, submit your questions in the Q&A box you'll find in the Zoom screen right-hand corner. We'll conduct the Q&A portion at the conclusion of this event after Ms. Mansfield's remarks. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge present people that are currently in the room, our Provost, Adrian Cooper, our General Counsel, Ms. Sonia Miller. I also want to acknowledge the Senior Associate Staff of the Athletic Department, our Senior Associate Athletic Director of Compliance and Operations, Ernest Collins, our Associate Athletic Director of Corporate Sponsorship, Joseph Strada. In addition, I also want to acknowledge the head coaches that are present. Head cheerleading coach, Ms. Kaylin James, women's softball coach, Pedro Herrera, the head baseball coach, Florentino Burgos, our head football coach, Timothy Ice Harris, our head men's basketball coach, Ansar Alameen, our interim men's soccer coach, Mr. Chris Pino, our head men's women's track and field coach, Coach Marlon Ball, our head women's basketball coach, Mr. Gregory Sandbeck, our head women's volleyball coach and the 2019 Sun Conference Championship coach, Ms. Marita Crockett Moulton. Next to the podium is the president of Florida Memorial University, Dr. Jafris Hardrick.
Good morning, everyone. Over the past year and a half, our university, particularly in athletics, we've experienced some good success. I don't think any of us can deny that. We had a big focus on academic success. We focused significantly on fundraising and friend-raising. We were able to establish many national partnerships. We were able to be recognized on a national level for many of our initiatives here at the university. Many of our policies were elevated and procedures, as well as the implementation of compliance to really continue to help us to move our university forward from where we were, again, prior to, again, the past year and a half. Or at least when I walked through the doors, we were experiencing some significant challenges of coming off of suspension and so on and so forth. So when you think about all that we've done, I want to thank Mr. Jones for his impact and his influence on our success. Moving forward, and I want you to stay focused as we make this transition, as we make this pivot, because today I am appointing Ms. Chevonne Mansfield as the interim director. She brings 15 years of collegiate experience to the table with NCAA Division I institutions. I'm looking for Chevonne to really continue to help us move to the next level of excellence in everything that we do. So I want to say, let's forget about those things which are behind us, and let's continue to strive forward for the success and the goals that are before us, because in everything we do, it's about our students and making sure that we help them cross the finish line. Our university is poised for great success and many great things happening to us here at this institution. And I thank you for what you're doing as coaches. And now I'm asking you to pivot, to refocus, reshift, and recommit, rededicate as we continue to take our university to the next level of success. All of us have a vested interest, and I don't care if this institution is beyond all of us. But the most important thing I always want you to go back to, and that is our students, because they are the reason why we're here. If they did not exist, we would not exist. And I want you to refocus, and I want you to recommit yourselves to the success of this university and to our students, making sure that we're developing young men and young women who are ready to compete in a 21st century global marketplace. Young men and young women who are ready to go on to graduate school or professional schools, or young men and young women who are ready to become entrepreneurs so that they can have transformational economic impact not only on their lives but their families and so many around them. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure now to bring to you, again, none other than our new interim athletic director, Ms. Chevonne Mansfield. Let's show her some love as she comes.
Thank you. Hello, it's a great day to be a Lion. Thank you, Dr. Hardrick. You know, when you get to this chair, all my mentors in Sitting EDs always say you want to work with a chancellor or president that understands the impact of athletics. And Dr. Hardrick does. He's been with us front-facing from day one since I started here a year and a half ago. I'm honored Dr. Hardrick has looked to me to take on this position, and I look forward to helping our department and our university meet challenges and embrace new opportunities. And thank you to the coaches and support staff here in the room today. I really appreciate your support. I'll be the first to admit that I may not look or sound like most of the people leading college athletic departments. In addition to being a woman, my personality is also unique. I'm very real and I'm very authentic. I'm also one of 2 female athletic directors in the Sun Conference, and now the first female athletic director at Florida Memorial, which never really mattered to me until today. It does matter now, though, especially in 2020, and it will shape how I approach leading this department and creating clarity. I don't have a crystal ball to show the future, but we can, and I can, define success and what that looks like for us over the next 60 to 90 days. Success to me is showing up as an inclusive leader and soliciting other people's voices. Being transparent about what you know, what you don't know, how you know it, and building trust. But that's the million-dollar question. How do you build trust? By delivering over and over again, and by being an active listener. which is something I tried to do since starting at Florida Memorial a year and a half ago. In all my years of college athletics, from my years as a student at St. John's University until now, I came to realize that an authentic approach works best. I can't change what people think of my gender or the assumptions that I'm too vulnerable or womanly or too soft, but I can embrace the parts of being a woman that make me better at my job. Like, for instance, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with anyone in the room until today, I come from a large family, oldest of 8 on my mother's side of the family, oldest of 4 on my father's side. Having such a large family helped me realize the importance of empathy. I also learned at a young age that I would need to take different routes to reach different people, and I applied those same principles to our student athletes and staff. So those of us in this room fortunate enough to work in college athletics, we know that change is an inevitable part of the industry. In recent years, our athletics department has experienced significant change, as Dr. Hardrick mentioned. These changes highlighted to the highest degree that we are in the people business. These past 6 months alone have unfolded like nothing we've ever seen. It's not just the pandemic, it's the social injustice that shook our student athletes and our staff. It's the protests and demonstrations in South Florida. It's the mental well-being of everyone I know. It's the seasons that were shut down last spring. It's the testing protocols established. It's the plans that require careful consideration for moving forward for a safe return to action. I know how difficult this is on our student athletes affected by these decisions, and I want them to know how incredible they are. And we will walk with them hand and foot moving forward. I want to support our coaches who are doing so much for our athletes and our staff, some of whom are in the room today, to do so much for our coaches and teams. At the same time, I'm just remembering how incredibly deeply people care about Florida Memorial University, and that any reaction we're seeing at this time is truly from a place of them saying, this place matters to me so much. I'm not trying to manufacture any artificial fakeness, and I won't rationalize or make excuses for any issues we're facing. What I want to do is take what's special about Florida Memorial and amplify that. We have a lot to be proud of, but there's still a lot of work to do. I said this last week in one of the meetings we had in athletics, and I'll say it again. Sometimes things don't always go as planned, but champions adjust. Then we have to remember our why. We're all here for the same reason as Dr. Hardrick mentioned, the students, the student athletes. We're here to impact and shape young lives. I think together we will work to positively impact our student athletes, inspire championship culture, and build and unite our community. And I see no better place to achieve these things than at Florida Memorial University. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ms. Mansfield. Give her another round of applause, please. This opens the question and answers portion of the program. The first question is for Ms. Chevonne. The question is, what is your plans for the first 90 days?
Well, I'll come up to the mic so everyone can hear. Still formulating our plan moving forward, but for me, success looks like in the next 60 to 90 days, emphasizing the student-athlete experience. We can't skimp or sacrifice on that end at all. Students are our why. So that's number one on my list. I want to have listening days. I want to be an active listener, as I mentioned before. I want to talk to our different constituencies and learn what makes Florida Memorial special, and I think that feedback will help me lead this department better. I want to do a SWOT analysis. I want to talk to our staff and see what we want to represent as a culture and clearly define that in athletics. I want to ask our coaches and support staff what they need to continue to compete at a high level. And I want to bring together a handful of administrative officials to determine our department's purposes and values.
Thank you. The next question is for Dr. Hardrick. As Florida Memorial being the only HBCU in South Florida, there's been reports that the university will now close this semester. What are your plans for the remainder of the fall semester, and what was the purpose of making sure that we stop athletics for the remainder of the fall semester, because we talked about it in the media, but the media wants to kind of get an idea what the purpose was to end fall sports the remainder of the semester.
Thank you for the question, whomever raised it. I think we all realize we're living in a unprecedented time. COVID-19, the coronavirus, the coronavirus pandemic, the racial pandemic that we're dealing with, these are definitely unprecedented times. No one has a manual on how to manage in COVID-19 other than just completely shutting down. But we know that's not the reality in anything that we do. Life has to go on. And we must learn how to adjust and how to adapt in any kind of changing environment. That's just what great leaders do. And that's what great people do. You cannot just shut down your lives. So everything that we are doing here at Florida Memorial, even from the height of the pandemic, Florida Memorial University was very safe. Literally from March, starting at March, we had already designed a plan of how we are going to manage in this unpredictable environment in which we live. And so when we think about all of the time that we've gone through, even up to the beginning of our academic semester, a new academic year, our university was safe. And we ended up having about 5 cases as a part of our normal testing protocols. And I can tell you, all you have to do is go back and look at our website, and you'll see how we've managed the coronavirus. Everything that we've done is listed on our website, every communication. But I just want you to know that part of the pivoting seriously came about when it was alleged that some students were feeling compelled that they were being compelled to compete in this environment. Well, we know that that's just not the case, because many of our students, the majority of our students, in fact, indicated that they wanted to compete. But I listened to the students, but I also listened to the voices of others. And I realized that it was just in our best interest to just discontinue moving forward with our athletic programs, at least through the end of this semester. This now gives us an opportunity to focus, reshift, pivot, do whatever we need to do to re-strengthen our athletic programs and make sure that our students remain healthy and safe. Because no matter what I do, no matter what I say, it has always been a top priority for me to make sure that our campus, our university community remains safe. And I'm here to tell you that our university is safe. In addition to some of the communications, negative information that we've heard out there about this massive outbreak of our university, there's just no validity in any of this. You can go out and look for yourself. That's why we took the additional steps, and we've now implemented a dashboard to show real time how many cases we have on this campus. Florida Memorial University is not the only institution in this nation dealing with what we have experienced over the past few days. And yes, some may ask, well, you shouldn't be concerned about those universities. No, I'm not concerned about those universities. I'm always focused on Florida Memorial. But the reality is that we have to look and see that we're not the only ones who are addressing these type of matters. And so I can stand here and look all of you in the eyes and say, this university is safe. This university has always been safe, and this university will continue to be safe. And I thank you for making sure that we continue to spread the pride and continue to encourage our students and our student athletes to do their part in helping us to continue to maintain a safe campus environment. Because that's what we're dedicated to, making sure that our students don't lose focus on getting their education. And with all these distractions that are out there, it's important that you and I as leaders help them stay focused on what's important. Thank you.
This question is for Ms. Mansfield. With the winter sports approaching, what is your thoughts about the winter sports of men's and women's basketball, as also the spring sports? What is the status of that, and what are we going to do moving forward?
As Dr. Hardrick mentioned, we made the decision to suspend the rest of our fall sports activities. There are still discussions being had about basketball and the rest of the seasons moving forward. And as soon as we make those decisions, we'll be the first to know. But right now, the decision is we're ceasing athletic activity temporarily and indefinitely.
The final question goes to Ms. Mansfield. I'm sorry to do this to you again, bring you back up to the podium. You're taking over a tumultuous time, as you mentioned. How do you go about building trust from your student athletes and your coaches who might be concerned about the COVID-19 pandemic?
And I definitely understand the concerns. We're dealing with this as a nation, but please know that, I guess, basically, I want to emphasize that the medical professionals in our FMU COVID task force, they call the shots in regards to the pandemic, and whatever they say is safe, we'll do. We've been noted by our conference that we far exceeded the protocol set by the league, and we'll continue to do that around our athletic activity. There's a remarkable level of protocols around any kind of activity at all, whether it's from game days to working out to meetings. So I'm confident when we resume action that we're going to continue holding ourselves to the highest standard and exceeding the requirements and expectations by the Sun Conference.
Before we conclude, we have a special message from the commissioner of the Sun Conference, Mr. Dustin Wilkie. He couldn't be here because of prior commitments. He wanted to say thank you, just in case I'm not able to join before concluding. Please share. Our conference continues to fully support Florida Memorial as a valued member of the Sun Conference. We have seen tremendous growth in a number of areas under Dr. Hardrick's leadership. I'm looking forward to seeing that continue. We are in unprecedented times in our country and fully respect the decision made by Florida Memorial University to take a step back from athletics and to ensure their student athletes are focusing on their health and safety first and foremost. I want to thank AD Ernest Jones for his leadership at Florida Memorial and our conference during the challenging period. Wish him nothing but the best. Additionally, I look forward to working with the interim athletic director, Ms. Mansfield, as she leads Florida Memorial into the future. That's from the commissioner of the Sun Conference, Mr. Dustin Wilkie. Guys, give him a round of applause. At this time, the portion of the Q&A is resolved. We're over. Thank goodness here. I think everyone is excited about Ms. Mansfield being here. And I just want to say, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I thank the coaches and the administration. And thank you for all your questions that are on Zoom to all the media. And we look forward to answering your questions in the future. Thank you.